Hello everybody, this is Law of the West, and I wanted to show for you right now the 4 variations of the reworked Avenger. Of course, we're going to start out with the Avenger Titan Renegade. This is from the Master of Flight series. Yeah, this is looking really slick. They did a really good job. Now, I'm not going to bother going over the interior of it. It's the exact same as the Titan. The only difference is that this ship has a different loadout to it. I believe it has different missiles and different weapons on the wing, but that's basically it. And other than that, it's got this swanky new paint job on the exterior. Looks really good, looks very interesting, and we're going to be going over each one of these ships in detail, so I'm not going to linger on this one too much because of that. So, honestly, let's move right on to the Avenger Titan. Now, as I just previously mentioned, this is the Avenger Titan that we're going to be looking at. Man, look at those hands shake. Looks like I shouldn't have had that second cup of coffee after all. So the thing I really like about this whole series is every one of these ships now still has the ability to exit the ship via the cockpit or to be able to go into the interior of the ship. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Oh, I love that ability. It almost looks like they got rid of this second door here. And we're going to have access to some interior components in this area here as well. You calm your roll. I'll get to you in a second. Here's one of the things that I love the most is they finally added something into this space, and even though it's not functional, it at least gives you the idea of what is going to be here. It's going to be some kind of storage area here, and another spot here as well is going to open up and either give you access into a component or give you access to more stuff that you can stick away for later. And of course you got your bed. I always had a pet theory that at some point you'd be able to remove this and put in a double bunk. Probably not going to happen, but a man can dream. Because ideally they're never going to bring back the dual seat, the trainer version of this ship. They even were specifically asked, the dev guys, and they said, no, it's not coming back. It's gone. It's dead. Put it to rest. Put a pin in it. Say goodbye. And of course, being the Titan variant, which is the cargo hauling version. Oh, that's neat. It's got a little step that pulls out and goes back in. Shut the door. There we go. Neat. I like it. But yeah, you can really start to feel how there's a lot more room in here right now to walk around. It was so congested before. And of course, you still have these little slots in here that looks like those prisoner containment pods should be able to be put back in here. They might not. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. We do have some information on that. But ideally, you're going to have a lot more room to get in here and walk around. Now, they haven't changed the size of the cargo grid at all. So this version, the reworked version of the Titan, is going to carry the exact same amount of cargo that it carried before. You're just going to be able to get around it. You're going to be able to sneak by on each side. And as you can tell, the cargo is going to come down here and be placed right in the middle. Now, here's one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Alright, let's get out here. They have increased the size of this door right here. They've made it a little taller and a little wider. Not by a huge amount. Now, I've never actually gotten a Gravlev in the back of one of these before. A friend of mine in my org swears up and down that he has, and he did it with ease. And I'm just going to take it for granted that what he's saying is correct. But if you could get one in before, if you could just barely squeeze it in, you can definitely get one in now. And I'm not going to have time in this video to actually get that done, but I will add that in a later video in a little 1-minute blurb just showing me pulling it off. I actually want to try to get a Cyclone in there as well, which I know that's not going to work. You're not going to be able to get into it. But just for science, I want to show it off. And of course, they stayed very true to the original design of this ship. For the most part, it looks similar in almost every way. Now, the changes that have been done to it are basically to the hard point. The overall size has been increased as well, and they got a little more intricate with the level of detail in the texture mapping, and I love it. I think they did a great job. It's just added that level of complexity to it, to step it up in the fidelity level. I know everyone's sick of hearing that word, but man, you just got to give it, you just got to use it in this case. It is awesome. Okay, so what are the changes to the exterior? All the hard points have been increased by 1 size. The weapons on the wing have been increased by one size. They went from gimbaled size 1s to now gimbaled size 2s. So that means it's a size 3 hardpoint up there if you want to do fixed weapons. And this is a size 4 hardpoint with a gimbaled size 3 mantis on it. And my god, that looks impressive. And that's the way it's going to stay. This is really, really good for what I consider to be a tier 2 ship, which would be a ship that's just above the starter ship variety. You know, as a matter of fact, right now I am going to go to the store and I'm going to buy a CCU upgrade from my Mustang to this ship right now before 3.2 actually goes live. They're not expecting to have a price hike on this, but they could. And I want to get the jump on that just in case. Now, one other thing I notice about this is the landing gear. The landing gear is riding a little higher than it was previously in the other version of the Avenger. And that works for me because that simply gives it more suspension and it makes it easier for it to land and makes it easier for it to land on uneven terrain. And we're going to move on over to the Stalker before I have a heart attack running around the outside of this. Be right back. Okay, so second to last on our list is the Avenger Stalker, and it's pretty much the exterior is the same as the other ships, the loadout's the same, the weapons are the same, even the texture map is the same as the Titan. So I'm just going to show you basically how to enter the ship through the cockpit because I love that feature. I love the fact that it has the ability to do this. And it also has the ability to do this. Love that. You know, once again, this room, same. So this is the real change. These are the prisoner storage pods. Slightly different than they were before, and I'll show you why. They open up a little different. And you can get inside and close yourself off. Now, ideally, you can't lock people in these at this point. CIG representatives specifically said that you're not going to be able to because they do not want people to be trolling people at this point or locking people in here and causing gameplay issues until the proper bounty hunting mechanics can be added into the game. Now, unfortunately, if you have the Avenger, you're not going to really be able to haul cargo in the back of this thing. And ideally, I think that's a huge advantage to a starter ship. Yeah, not technically a starter ship, but pretty close. Tier 2 starter. So, which brings us to one issue that they've been talking about before. A lot of people who've been a part of CIG for a long time now will know that when these ships were first introduced, they were introduced as modular in design. Which means you buy one stock model, but you'd be able to buy modular units, so you'd be able to slap in the back and essentially turn your Titan into a Stalker or your Stalker into a Warlock. And, well, they were in such a hurry to get these ships out, they did not have the modular system put into place or created, and they still don't. And so they released these as variants. Now, a variant means that these are standalone ships, and their changes are standalone as well, meaning you bought a Warlock, you're going to always have a Warlock, and that Warlock will not be able to turn into any other variation of the ship. Now, when asked what their ideas are for this, because the rework of this ship brings up those issues again, the CIG representative basically said, well, we don't know, but for the time being, these ships are going to be variants. So we really have no idea what's going to happen in the future. My advice for people essentially at this point would be to not buy the Avenger Stalker, but buy the Titan. So you'll have the ability to haul cargo, and if you ever wanted to, you could upgrade at one point to a Stalker for a nominal fee. And I would hold off until way after they get the bounty hunting mechanics put into place, because cargo hauling is in the game. Bounty hunting is really not in the game right now, and it's going to be a lot more useful to be able to haul cargo than it is to have these storage pods in the back just taking up space, not really doing anything other than looking pretty, and allowing you to sit here and play peekaboo with your friends. That's my little 2 cents on this. So let's move on to the Warlock, because why not? Well, because it's the last ship that we need to look at, that's why. And lastly, we have the Avenger Warlock. Now, everything else on the exterior is exactly the same, so there's no reason to go over that again. The real difference is back here. Oh yeah, and this is it. This is just as dangerous as it looks to step in there, because you walk along this little platform and it'll immediately throw you to the left or the right like this is some kind of carnival ride. So I'm not going to do it. It's just, there's no reason to show that off. But it just looks so much better in here. The animation on it looks great. The effects on it. The complexity of the detail. Everything. So it's just thumbs up all the way around. They did a really good job with this. So that's basically it for the variants. The only last thing I have to talk about, and in case you have any fears about the flight model on this ship, it has not changed at all. And if they have changed it to any degree, it's not to a noticeable level. It is still very maneuverable. It still handles really well. It's still extremely fast. It still has the same level of acceleration, top speed, and boost speed as well. So no complaints in any of those departments. So in case you're kind of worried that they made this bigger and it's now a big lumbering beast, nah, don't worry about it. It still handles like a dream. Still flies really good. Still very fun. Thumbs up all the way around for this whole model and all of its variants. So that's it for my little summation of the rework of the Avenger series. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back here again. Goodbye, everybody.